What's up, y'all? It's Hip Hop Raised Me. I'm about to teach y'all a little something about animation. This is gonna be the first video, so I'm gonna deal with y'all from my perspective of animation because I've been doing this for like 12 years, so I know a little bit about what I'm doing. In this tutorial, I'm showing you how to draw a basic face from an animator's perspective within the program called Moho Pro. This is the 12th version of the program, but no matter what version you're using, most of the features are the same. Right now, the program iteration is at the 14th version, I believe, but the 12 is fine. The 12, you could get a lot done within this one right here. Okay, so a lot of tutorials about animation, they teach you about the interface and this, that, and the third, but they don't show you how to create a complete project. I'm talking about like if you want to make a movie or a whole short or a commercial using animation. And I'm going to approach this animation tutorial journey from my perspective because I've been doing this. I've made movies, I've made shorts, commercials, all that. So I'm a reliable source on giving you information. I'm not just going to show you, okay, this tool does this tool does that. I'm going to show you a lot of things. And believe it or not, animation goes far beyond just using this program or any animation program for that matter to get things done. You know, when it comes to animation, you got to deal with music, you got to deal with voice acting, you have to deal with sound design, and the most important thing is you got to deal with writing. Writing is everything. Writing is the backbone of animation. Without writing, you're not going to have anything to animate. So you have to address that in that aspect of the animation journey is writing. You have to be able to write your shorts, write your stories, write your commercials, or whatever you plan on animating. You have to write it down first, and then you could go on and use the tools that you need to use to animate. And another aspect of writing is storyboarding. Storyboarding is planning what you plan to do within your animation. You know, um, your animation is going to be broken down into scenes. And, like, say you have a chapter of animation, that chapter could be broken down into 30, 40 scenes. It might be broken down into two scenes, or it might be one scene, but either way, it's broken down into scenes. And each scene needs to be storyboarded. So, like if you're working with a major production and you have a lot of co-workers and colleagues working with you on the project, then you have to do some fancy type of storyboarding. But if you're working by yourself, your storyboard doesn't have to be that fancy. It just has to convey what it's meant to do, which is give you a blueprint and a guide on how to tackle that scene. Like for instance, a guy says, "Hey, how you doing?" So within that storyboard of the scene, it says the guy says, "How you doing?" His face has a smile on it. He raises his hands up. He waves, and you break down all the details of that scene, and then you just storyboarded that scene. And that's very important because you have to have a guide and direction on what you are animating. So first you have to write and then you have to storyboard. Those are very important. So before you think about animating, make sure you are writing and then storyboarding. That's very important. And I can't stress that enough. So be ready to write. Be ready to write. Writing is free. It just comes from your brain and your mind, and you got to do that. Now, within this program here, Animate Studio Pro, which is now known as Moho Pro, is the program of choice I like to use. It's a very user friendly program when it comes to animation. It's not one of the free programs, but it is affordable compared to the other paid programs. Now, there's a lot of free programs out there, but this is the program I choose to use. The learning curve is easy, it's not complicated, and things can get done. It's very intuitive. You see the tools on the left side. That's what I'm using. I don't even draw with a stylus or a pen because this is a vector art based program. You draw using lines and shapes, and then you take those lines and shapes and you can mold them by the curvature tool or the translate points tool. You know, right now, I'm drawing the teeth. It's very simple, just a bunch of lines. So when you're doing vector art, it's a different approach to drawing because, like I said, you're using lines and shapes. A lot of lines and shapes to get things done. So you got to deal with art from a different perspective. This is not traditional pixel based art or pencil and paper art. This is vector art. And vector art is special because vector art can be modified. Vector art can scale up and down without losing its line quality. It's a digital form of art. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. You see, like what I'm doing right here with vector art, you could draw the lines and then move them around to your desire. You can make the lines thick or thin. You could curve the sharp corners. And as you can see here also, I'm not just drawing a face. I mean, I could have drew that face in like a minute. But the thing is, I'm drawing the face with animation in mind. So each part of the face I'm drawing on a different layer. Because in the future, I want to move each of those parts to animate them. So when I'm animating, I could just choose a certain layer and animate that layer without messing up the rest of the project. Instead of just drawing the whole face on one layer, and I could have drew this face in a minute or two, but now that I'm drawing each layer on each element of this picture on different layers, I could pick, like, say, if I want to move the eyeball, I could just click on the eyeball and move it around without affecting anything else. Or say I want to use this same picture but make the person with blue eyes, I could modify just the eyeballs and make them blue. So, one thing about this program is that you can reuse parts. So, for instance, I could save this file, and if I'm working on another file, instead of drawing eyes over again, I could just use these eyes and import it into another file, and now I have eyes. So, after years of using the program, you might have files that's eyes, your eyes file, or your ears file, or your mouth files. So you don't have to constantly draw these things over again, over and over again. You can reuse them, and it's going to make your workflow a lot faster. So the longer you do animation, the faster your workflow is going to be. But for these tutorial sakes, I'm going to draw these parts over and over again so you can see what I'm doing. That's no problem. It's all part of the life. This guy I'm drawing, he's a little kind of a grimy type looking guy. You see the pink eyes because he may be using some type of substance, and he got the yellow teeth. This guy's old school. He's a rough guy. I'm drawing a couple of lines on the face to show that. And yeah, I'm using the tools on the left side of the panel. And when you're drawing, make sure your timeline is at frame 0. The timeline is the panel on the bottom. That's the picture rendered right there. You know? You see him, he's looking good. That's the rendered picture. Yeah, but like I said, this is Hip Hop Raised Me. This is the first video, and it's gonna be a lot going on. I hope y'all enjoy this journey. Peace.
Hey y'all, it's your favorite animator, Hip Hop Raised Me. Support the cause and purchase my movie on my website. It's the funniest movie in the universe, and it got all the adult content you looking for. It's about two friends living on the edge with the monkey on their back. All the proceeds of your purchase is going towards me being a full-time animator and living the dream. Click on the link in the description and get your instant digital copy of Stinky and Taco remixed, and you can thank me later.